It's Julia Renee.
And Kendall Aaliyah. Welcome back to the Know Your Power podcast. Hey, ladies.
Hey, ladies.
And gentlemen.
And gentlemen, for the guys that are
we
listening
get tagged. Have you seen the guy on TikTok who tags us as part of his, like, it's very, do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't go on TikTok very much, but
I, like, literally never post. So when someone tags us in something, it's like, it's the first thing on my thing. And he does like day in my life's, I think he's a competitor, but he kind of does like some wellness poses and he's like super aesthetic. And he like tagged us in part of like his daily routine and it was
listening
so cute.
To the pod?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I'm literally going to go look at it right after this.
I loved it because we do always speak to like the male audience to the female audience, but we definitely have a good amount of male listeners.
We're like everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody, whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
Even if there's cats and dogs listening. Hi, cats and dogs.
Sometimes I leave our podcast on when I leave the house because I'm like, Rex and Kofu will think that I'm home.
I've gotten a lot of videos of people playing like either our podcast or the YouTube videos and their dogs and their cats are like,
it's so funny.
Have their little heads cocked and they're
I don't
watching.
think Rex registers that it's his mom, but we passed someone walking. I was walking him yesterday morning and we passed someone and she had the same like height, build, frame, hair color as me. And I think Rex got confused and was like, Mom? This lady, like, picture us on a sidewalk. She walks past us. Rex turns around and starts booking it at her. And, like, he's on a leash, so he doesn't make it very far. But I was like, I'm right here.
He's like, I want really her funny. Instead.
No, that's how I felt like a betrayal. We're starting today's episode with a little Kendall story time. This was like, I feel like I've been better about the whole social anxiety, people pleasing, going out of my way thing. And then I got trapped yesterday. So I take L-carnitine in my prep. Like a liquid one that tastes so good. I get it off of Amazon. I love it so much. And it feels like my like treat of the morning. And I ran out and we live right by a GNC, which I haven't been to in years, by the way. They feel very, you know how like, well, maybe you don't. GameStops now compared to childhood.
Yes.
Okay. GNC feels that way for like the fitness space.
It does.
Where it's like
old and crusty and there's no one there.
A little bit, no offense.
Sorry.
But we have one right by us. I was going to Target anyway. It's like a few doors down. I was like, let me run in and just see if they have that brand or similar. So I walk in and it's just me and the employees, of course.
Every time I go in, it's always just me and the employees. And I'm like,
I'm so uncomfortable. Like suddenly I know nothing about fitness and I feel very out of place. So it's a girl and a boy behind the counter, youngish, which is why I say girl and boy. And then like a man in the back talking to them, whatever. I didn't know the dynamic. I didn't know if he was a worker or what. And they all turned to me and immediately the social anxiety.
I hate it.
Where they go, what are you looking for? And I'm like, and I like suddenly can't think of it. And I get it out and I'm like, do you guys have a liquid L-carnitine? Like that's what I'm looking for. And they're like, oh, like I know we do. Let us like walk around and show you. And like the girl had brought me to a shelf with one of them and I'm standing there. And then the older guy who was like in the back comes up to me and I guess he's the owner of the GNC. So as I'm trying to read it, he's asking like what I'm taking it for. I mentioned I just started prep. He's like talking to me about competing and divisions and he knows like the owner of a gym that we both know. Anyway, I don't want this L-carnitine. Like it's
not the right one and you like
also,
the exact
it's
one.
It's like literally triple the price. And people pleasing Kendall, I bought it.
How much was it?
It was $50 and it tastes so bad and I regret my decision so.
We've all done that where we're like, I'm just going to buy this so I can get out of this situation.
Yeah. He started like offering me a job there. Like it was like, I was like, I need to leave.
It's one of those things where, gosh, I feel like there's a show that's like this, but when you know that like no one ever really comes in. So when someone comes in, it's like, people!
I was like, I simply can't walk away and not give these people my money now. And I felt so uncomfortable. And I got in the car and I looked at this tiny bottle of $50 L-carnitine.
Cried.
And I was like, what am I doing? And then I went home and I tried it and it's spicy. I was like, why is it spicy?
That's weird.
So that was my day yesterday. And I was just like, the podcast would enjoy this story because I feel like I haven't shared an awkward Kendall story in a while where I just felt so uncomfortable that I was like, sure, I'll buy whatever you hand me right now. Honestly.
The last time that I went into a GNC, it was the same thing where I was out of my little puff bars that I'm obsessed with. And I've probably digested at least 10 tons of them during this off season. It lives in my bloodstream.
I don't think they're gluten-free or it was dairy, but I haven't tried them yet because of that, but I will one day.
I love them. So I walked in there and all I wanted was one. I just wanted to buy one.
Did you buy a whole box?
No, I just bought one.
Oh, okay.
I just bought one. So I walk in there, of course, and it's like the bell rings. It's like ding. And then everyone's like,
yep,
we have a customer. And immediately, like, I think maybe though they're probably taught to do that and to ask about your fitness routine.
Oh yeah, and he was so sweet, which is, again, I say it's people pleasy, but I was like, I do want to support this guy in this store he owns.
I know.
So.
And you feel bad because I also wonder if they do work off of like commission of selling supplements, because you wonder that too, because not nobody, but fitness people like buy online, like from Amazon, or I wonder how many people actually go into GNCs anymore. Guys, let us know. Like, when's the last time you went into a GNC?
That's a good question. Or if there's another one you prefer, because I know there's other GNC like adjacent, like Vitamin Shop I used to love. Shop. I feel like they have more snacks there, which is what would bring me in.
Yeah, I'd go for
But GNC's like truly just some supplements. The shelves were kind of bare. I did feel bad. Yeah. And I did give them my money. So... And I was
what are you going to do with the cartons? You just let it sit.
I'm being so serious. I might not take it. And I was going to ask if you wanted, because I really don't like the taste.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Maybe I like it. Oh gosh. Well, today we're going to be chatting about like a lot of gym girly things. We have some questions from listeners. We have a little bit of everything, but we did have a listener write in, and I thought it would be fun for us to answer these questions. She says, in honor of Kendall, what was watching Gilmore Girls?
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Yes, I want to read what she says. She says, "Hey Kendall and Julia, first off, you guys are the most incredible human beings. Thank you for creating such a positive podcast. It truly makes my Mondays and Wednesdays so much better. Since Kendall is watching Gilmore Girls, I think the KYP community would love to hear both of your thoughts on the series. I know it's not related to fitness or the gym, but I know you two have opinions on this incredible show."
This is such a good idea because we haven't talked about it either.
I know,
like, we've had no chats, so I'm excited.
Okay, so you guys also put your answers to these questions in the comments if you're on YouTube, or shoot us a DM on Instagram. I'm really curious, but who would you have chosen for Rory to end up with?
Okay, what's your
want to say it on 3?
I can tell you who it's not. I can tell you I only have one person I don't like, which might be controversial. I feel like you're going to like the guy I dislike.
You hate Dean, don't you?
No, I love Dean.
Okay,
I hate Jess.
Oh, everyone hates Jess.
No, okay. When I talked about
everybody hates Jess.
When I talked about watching this, literally the only comment we got on YouTube about it was like Team Jess, and I was like, huh?
No,
okay.
Jess needs some serious therapy.
Thank goodness. Okay, yeah. Anyone but Jess.
Anyone but Jess.
I think Dean was amazing.
I liked
adorable.
him. Yeah.
Loved him so much. He made me the most giddy for her.
Yeah, he's also super cute.
Yes. And then, why can't I think of names right now? Hold on.
I think his name is actually in here. Who's that other guy? The Yale dude.
Yes,
I liked him. The blonde one. What's his name? You liked him?
You didn't?
He was like a little douchey.
A little. Okay, my only take is because I know people like that in real life. Sometimes it's just how you're raised. I think he was early on, but I think once he got into a relationship with her.
She kind of forced him to get in a relationship though.
That too.
She didn't really force, you can't force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the conversation that they had and he was like, okay, like I'll be your boyfriend.
Yeah. But then he did commit.
Yeah.
At a certain point.
Because she was like, I can't do this.
Cheat on her. So yeah, maybe not him.
Yeah.
I think
But then also she kissed
Jess.
She kissed random guy. Why don't we know any of the names? Remember the guy that had a crush on her from high school? She kissed
Tristan.
Tristan.
He's beautiful
Low
as
key,
well.
Team Tristan.
Me too.
He's the worst, but low key, Team Tristan.
He never even got a chance.
I love him. He always plays the hot guy in like every movie.
Yeah, I just watched a Hallmark film like over Christmas time that he was in, and I did not even realize it was the same person.
You know what I love him from? Freaky Friday, the bad boy on the motorcycle with the long hair.
I didn't even know that was him.
I love Freaky Friday.
My favorite part now watching this show for the first time like 20 years after it was made is like seeing how far a lot of these actors have come, where like one of the guys who is just like a tiny side character is like a huge actor now.
Who?
And I'm like, that's crazy that that's their start. It's the guy who was the guitarist that dated Lane.
Oh,
not the guitarist. The guitarist guy. He's in like a ton now. I have all of them pulled up, so give me 2 seconds. I'll give you a name.
Okay, the next question is, which one is your favorite boyfriend of Lorelai?
I love Luke.
Obviously Luke.
I love Luke.
Luke was fine.
Yeah.
He was definitely super fine, like at the beginning, and then of course he got a little like...
I know why you think that. The man's got a bodybuilder frame.
Dude.
I was like, what is he lifting in the back of that kitchen?
There's this one photo that me and my sister will always pass back and forth of Luke, and he's wearing like a black tee, and it's like from the first season, and he's kind of standing like and me and my sister are like, yeah, he's fine.
That was the slowest of slow burns ever, where I think it was not until like season 5 or something crazy where they kissed for the first time. And I was like literally starting to gaslight myself that it was never going to happen.
I know.
And it made me sad.
But justice for Max.
Max was
He literally did
guy.
nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, he just wasn't Luke.
I think she really messed that up.
Yeah. That's like commitment trauma being
for sure
phased out. Like the fact that she straight up just left.
Yeah.
And the one question that I have always wondered is, she's supposed to get married like that next weekend. She goes on a road trip with her daughter, Rory. And I want to know, was there a phone call? Did she tell him at all? Did she ever tell Max
I feel
that hey, I'm not going to be there? I don't think she did. They never say it. I've watched it like 8 times.
That's true, but she does see him later.
Yeah,
like
and he
2
doesn't
years
say
later.
anything.
Yeah, and I'm like, they seem okay.
I mean, because he's nice.
Yeah, he is.
He's not my type. He's also like a little boring, but justice for Max.
Okay,
But Luke,
what are your thoughts on her and Rory's dad? Because that was quite the relationship back and forth.
Forget about him. He's also cute.
I'm not asking your thoughts on the guy.
Sorry.
On there.
Oh, I thought it was a hot or not.
You're like, yep.
I'm like, yeah, he's fine.
Smash or pass?
Emotionally? No, he's terrible.
I thought I didn't like that he like brought her to Paris and was like, you have to marry me literally tomorrow.
It was very much like, it was. Have you ever heard of like baby trapping?
Yes.
But it was like marriage trapping, where it was very marriage trappy. Yeah.
I feel like those relationships are. I feel like they did a really good job at portraying like different real life scenarios where like I know people who have or have been adjacent to like when you are with someone and you're like high school sweethearts, you feel this pressure as adults if things like haven't worked out yet to like almost force it. And I feel like from a healed girly lens, like you can learn a lot from those relationships and what not to do.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. If he got better, but he definitely tried to marriage trap her for sure. Thoughts on April Nardini?
I thought
April's the daughter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally just had to Google it.
I'm wondering why this is a question. What's wrong with her?
I think she's amazing.
I do too.
Smart, funny, adorable. I think they might be asking this question because it kind of like threw a wrench into like the show's perceived plans. Like that's when like Lorelai and Luke were like getting together and it kind of like, so I think the timing pissed me off for sure, but I was like, she's so cute.
Yeah, because you were like, you guys were this close, bitch. You were this close and you had to throw in a child. I mean, I love her. No.
Yeah.
I do love her, but that was honestly, the biggest test was, let's see how you handle this random situation. And the way that he handled it was so
I thought it was odd, but again,
but
practical.
I understand.
I feel like someone would maybe do that in real life of like, oh, this is this new thing, I need to protect it. But I think like objectively us watching it, we're like, Lorelai's great, bring her in. She knows how to
and he eventually did,
yeah.
And then she got in trouble.
Yeah.
By the mom.
And then she moved. It was
also
all very... Yes.
April Nardini's mom, what was her name?
I'm really bad with names.
April Nardini's mom. She played 2 characters in the show.
No.
She did.
Who'd she play?
She played the mom of the girl, and then she also played the wife of Jess's real dad. Remember when Jess leaves?
No way.
Yes, she's wearing a headscarf most of the time. It's the same girl.
Hold on, I need to investigate.
And when I saw that, I was like, you guys couldn't get another side character?
Wait, that's crazy.
Yeah, look it up.
Business.
So when Jess like finally moves away and he goes and finds his real dad who's in California, he shows up to the house and his partner, his real dad's partner, is the same actress.
I'm like, wow, you're so
right? They just like change her hair, she's wearing like a headscarf instead.
I literally you just like blew my mind. That's crazy. For the YouTube watchers, I'm going to throw up a side-by-side for those who have watched and know who we're talking about because that's crazy. She looks so different.
Literally, I'm like, y'all couldn't invest in another, no. Okay, we're going to do this.
The budget wasn't big enough.
We're going to do the same lady. Okay, this next question. What are your thoughts on how Lorelai handled the situation of Rory breaking from Yale?
Is this when they didn't talk for like a year?
Yeah, I think when Rory took a break from Yale, it was like where she didn't really know where her life was going.
Yeah.
She didn't get a job, the journalist job, so she took 2 years off. And then
that was after
the parents went behind the back.
Logan's dad was like mean to her. I think it wasn't handled well. That's all I know. I think communication wasn't there, wasn't really explained. I think there was a lot of like animosity that wasn't talked about. And I think like it's hard because obviously I don't have a child yet, but I have been a child to a mother. And I think it's hard at that age in real life to have certain conversations where I know I was super defensive all through like late teens, where if my mom tried to tell me anything about the direction I was planning for myself, it was like you don't know. You don't know what I'm
going through.
So like mentally, I'm like, she should have intervened. She should have like stepped in. She should have reached out more. But at the same time, it's like, would a girl that age making that big of a decision listen? Maybe not.
I do think because what happened was Lorelai goes with her grandparents and they make a game plan and they say like, we're going to make her finish Yale. We're not going to let her take
that's not
the 2
how
years
you go
off.
about it.
And they agree.
Yeah.
And then the grandparents, Rory goes to the grandparents separately and comes up with the game plan and is going to live with them. And I feel like that's what stabbed Lorelai's back because she went to the parents and she hates the parents. But there is, I think also because Lorelai is such like a cool mom, that maybe the reason that Rory got so mad that she wasn't going to let her take 2 years off was because she's supposed to be the cool mom. And in that moment, she had to be like a disciplinary mom. Like I know, at least like with my parents and stuff, like if I start something, if like I wanted to start something, it's like, you're going to finish it. You're not going to just like quit, So there is that mentality. But then also there's the other side where it's like, are you going to force somebody to do something that they're not mentally ready for, that they can't handle? But
that's true. I think the biggest thing that should have and could have been better if this was like real life scenario is just communicating, because I think it got lost in translation too, that like clearly she wanted to quit Yale because of that like journalist opportunity not going well. So then she started having this like existential crisis. I think if she voiced that to her mom and grandparents, like sat them down and explained it, it would have like ended a lot differently. Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing to where when the first season, when Rory wants to go to the fancy Chilton School, but she meets Dean right in the middle. And then all of a sudden she's like, no, I don't want to go to that school, and hides the real reason why. It's very similar, repeating itself later, where the real reason is because she feels like she's not good at what she's been dreaming of doing her entire life. Yeah. She feels very defeated. But, you know, that's very embarrassing to like admit and to say.
For sure.
But Lorelai also is the adult in the situation and playing the silent treatment for her child that most likely is going through something, even if she won't tell her. Yeah.
Because I will say, like, with talking about our own parents, my mom's the same way, where she's like, she will check in on me to follow through on everything. And I think sometimes I need that, even as like a full grown adult now. Like sometimes she'll be like, hey, just checking, like, did you do that thing? Because I know you're talking about it, not to mother you too much. And I'm like, even as an adult, I need that mothering sometimes, where like, it's still nice having someone just like check in and like make sure you're on the right track sometimes. So
there's often times where Lorelai lets her feelings about her grandparents affect her relationships
so much
with everybody. Like she hates, it's like sometimes she hates her grandparents, her parents so much that overshadows everything and gets in the way.
It's crazy.
It's like, damn,
you know what's crazy is the show takes place where my mom grew up. So like I've viewed her like in a lot of the positions a lot of the time.
Stars Hollow ain't real.
Well, not Stars Hollow, but where they live in Connecticut is real, and that's where my mom was like born and raised, and where my grandma used to live. So
that's
I always
where my family lives.
And like, wait, really?
My Italian side
lives. Oh, we have talked about this. Yeah. I think we connected that your dad and my mom were like similar areas. But yeah, I view my grandma in real life as like that grandma sometimes because she is very like poised and proper, and it's so cute.
There's sometimes, because we got my mom to watch Gilmore Girls and she loved it. And she was so angry like you watched you know there's another season, right?
I'm watching, it's like the 4 episodes.
Yeah,
right?
like the
I'm watching
summer,
that right
winter,
now,
fall thing.
but I know the ending because I spoiled it for myself.
My mom was so mad about it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes when my mom's being like, we're like, okay, Emily Gilmore, and she gets so mad. It's hilarious. Some people say Rory is the villain of the Gigi series. What is your take? What?
Villain how?
Gigi?
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, I was thinking Gigi, the daughter, remember?
I hope we're interpreting this correctly then.
I don't think she's the villain. This is what my take is. Lorelai throughout the entire series is doing everything that she can to make sure her daughter doesn't make the same mistakes that she did. And she ends up doing that anyways.
And some of it is just being a teenage and early 20s
really?
girl.
like really?
I kind of liked that she isn't perfect, because I feel like the first season really paints her as like, this is our perfect little angel.
Yes,
and she's
that's
so
annoying.
smart and so hardworking. And like, I think it was honestly just like a lot of realistic mistakes of like not choosing the right guy to go with, or like overthinking career paths, or changing your mind that you like, because her whole
having sex with a married guy.
Because
it's not funny. Justice for Dean.
I love Dean. He's so sweet, and he's just like gone now, and I'm like, he's so sweet.
I know.
Anyway, what was I even saying? Oh, like
the
her whole
mistakes
path was like for Harvard and then changing her mind. Like, I feel like all of those like things that might be viewed as like wow, she's really self-sabotaging. It's like, don't we all?
I mean, honestly, I can think of at least like one close-ish thing that I have done growing up that was similar to hers, but there was this air of she's this perfect little angel. Let's keep her this like perfect. She can't do anything wrong. So then when she did do something that was human and normal, like everyone freaked out.
Yeah. Which I think is
like,
happens a lot too, because sometimes like you're pedestalized, or like, obviously it's such a mom and daughter dynamic, the whole show, where like the mom views her as perfect, even though she's like doing imperfect things. So yeah. Any other questions?
Thoughts on Kirk? He's the best character. That's all I gotta say.
Like, it took me a few seasons to realize that he has so many jobs. Like, I don't know how I didn't catch on quicker, where I was like, oh, he's just getting hired here now. And I was like,
Kirk
oh, he works everywhere. I think there was a
million hours a
statistic
week.
where it was like some hundreds of jobs throughout the whole show. I can't remember the exact number. Before that, we skipped, would you have stayed friends with Paris? Which I want to know your answer on.
Honestly, no. She's hilarious to watch. I think she's so funny.
Agreed.
With how savage she is and how much serious she takes things and intense. But no, I wouldn't have been.
See, I think if I was Rory, I would have. I think in her shoes and their dynamic, it like somehow works. I think me, real life, too overwhelming. But I also, I'm like, maybe we would make good friends because she's so straightforward and like intense, and I'm more like laid back, that maybe we'd balance each other.
I think that's why they ended up still staying friends, because Paris did learn, for the most part, to kind of like be more human and chill, and got a lot from the relationship. I definitely do think that Paris got more from the relationship than Rory did.
I agree. But I think Rory didn't really have a girlfriend before then, though, other than Lane.
Yeah, that's true.
So she was like kind of lonely in the new school. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't choose to be her friend, but if she came into my life, I'd probably stay.
She's low-key funny, though.
She is funny.
She's so funny. Oh, gosh. Well, that's our Gilmore Girls takes. But
that was fun.
We got some questions for y'all. So this first one says, y'all. We have a couple of them that are starting with y'all, and I love it. Y'all, your sisterhood wound episode was so relatable. I'm 100% unlearning to be the cool girl in a male-dominated spaces and severely. Severely.
She spelled it wrong.
Severely lacking in girlfriends to hang out with. I would love to hear you talk more about how you learned to socialize differently, either as full episode or some side topics. I totally missed the how to socialize like a normal girl part of my life and genuinely have no idea what I'm doing. I'll run up to someone and say, hey, I love your shirt, and have no clue where to go from there. Like, I'm trying, but I'm the human embodiment of an awkward pause.
No, literally me.
Your podcast is so wholesome and enjoyable to listen to. Thank you for showing everyone that we can nerd out about fitness, push hard, and still be feminine as hell.
I relate so much to this question.
We talked about this not too long ago, right? I can at least speak from like my experience from the gym and how it kind of moved from being this girl that I saw to being like eventually my friend. Like, for example, there's this girl at my gym, and she's even taller than you. She's like almost 6 foot. She's me, 5'2". So I'm like, this girl's a beautiful and so tall. She's blonde. She has blue eyes. She has an incredible butt, and she always dresses so cute and works really, really hard. And I was always like looking at her and being like, she seems really cool. And the way that we ended up becoming like friends is I saw her doing an exercise, and I think the first time I complimented her outfit and it was very, very quick. And then the next time that I saw her, she was doing an exercise and she was doing it differently than I do. And I was genuinely like, I want to know why. She has a great butt. I want a great butt.
How to get great butt.
How do you do's? So I went up and asked her during her rest period. I was like, hey, I do this same exercise on this machine, but I'm curious. I was like, why are you like elevating it right there? Like, do you feel it better? And she explained it to me. And a lot of it had to do with her just being tall.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I just went, it was like, I love asking people about like certain exercises because I love learning about stuff. And then we had like a conversation about, you know, training glutes and all of that stuff. And it did start from like a simple question, because people, if you ask, they like to talk about themselves, you know, they want to. And I was genuinely curious because her butt looked great.
I had a similar like wholesome interaction at the gym where I was in the posing room and I see this girl. I feel like many of us go to the gym at the same time every day, or like at least same days. So you see the same people. So there's certain people I see all the time, but maybe I've never talked to, or I've thought about it, or maybe I haven't even thought about it. And I was in the posing room and there was just one girl in there and she was taking like a selfie, and I was just going to ask her if I could turn like my side of the room's lights on, because there's like 100 different controls in there. So I was like, hey, like, do you mind if I turn this on? She was like, no, go for it. She was like, are you in prep? You look so good. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was like, are you in prep? Because you look so good. Like, I was literally thinking it but hesitating about it, and I felt like her taking the initiative allowed me to be like, oh my gosh, like I've been wanting to talk to you because your shape looks amazing. And we followed each other on Instagram, and she has already DM'd me just like a simple little like get it girl type of comment, you know, like it doesn't have to become this like serious, we are close friends now, like instantly. But I think once we made that establishment, now every time I see her, I'm gonna wave to her, I'm gonna smile at her.
I like this is genuinely just dating for girlfriends. Like when you start dating a guy, you like, let's say it is a gym guy, it starts with just like the looks or something, and then it's like maybe a little like conversation, and then maybe eventually you get the phone number, then you hang out, and then like it's a process in time, because building trust in a relationship, no matter who it is, takes time. So that's kind of how I view like making girlfriends, for sure, is that it just takes a little bit of time, and then you get better at being the one who initiates it after you kind of start with the compliments or admiring something of them, or asking them a question about their life and what they're doing.
With the pressure of like, I don't know what to say after like, I like your shirt, you can just leave it at that the first time, the first few times. And then like asking further questions after that to like, if this, feel it out. Because sometimes you say hi to someone and you're like, that wasn't the energy I was expecting. And maybe like, don't expect that you have to now be friends with this person either.
That's the thing. It's like you can
date around with your friends.
I was like, you because that's the thing. It's like not everyone is gonna like want to be friends. You know what I mean? But it could start as like a little smile. You know, and that's it. And then it could be like a compliment. Like you really like her Alphalete shorts or her Buff Bunny bra or something like that. And then it can go into like curious about a workout or like what she does, and then eventually you'll come to the gym, and then she's one of those girls that you're like, hey.
And then if you want to get to like the hangout level, I feel like my go-to is just like, hey, do you want to train? Like, let's work out.
Literally.
We're in this common place. You can wear headphones if you want. We're talking a little bit. Exactly. We both know like this is obviously common ground. And then from there, it's like, okay, we vibed well. Like, do you want to grab food after the gym? And it really is like dating. That's crazy. Okay. I don't know where we are. The next question. Hey y'all. I'm such a fan. You're both fantastic, and I listen to the pod, follow on IG, and watch all the YouTubes of you both. Love, love, love. That is so sweet. That being said, I can say I am a little disconnected sometimes because I am so much older, seriously old enough to be your mother. A little background, I am a powerlifter and am prepping for a competition in June, trying to place nationally in my federation, so your prep and dedication really resonates. I can also say that I recently broke away from my gym/friend group. It was hard but necessary for lots of reasons. Now I am lifting at a gym where there is maybe a handful of folks who even know that what powerlifting is. And like one of those people is a woman. Sigh.
Aww.
Sorry, it's not funny. I just like that you wrote sigh. It's very cute. My coach is local, but I only see him occasionally, though he programs for me weekly. Listening to the pod today, I was super on board because there's so much competition and distrust among women. I am absolutely on board with making this change for the better. So now I will say that when you were discussing approaching someone at the gym, the thought made me cringe a little. I feel like the age gap that exists between me and most of the ladies at my gym could be an issue. What do you think? If you knew your audience included a 50+ powerlifter, would the homework be the same? Thank you for considering my question. I hope to hear your response on a pod someday.
I also just want to give you guys an idea of the age range of women that listen to this podcast and that are coming to the Know Your Power retreat and like all of this stuff. Like we'll have girls that are as young as like early 20s to like 60s, like
I think we had 65 last year.
Yes. Yeah. I'm telling you, like we have all women from all walks of life, from all fitness levels, like bodybuilders, some that are not. Like we all have one thing in common, and it is like this message that we share here.
It's like fitness, mental health, bettering yourself in general.
So never feel like you're not hear and heard of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can say in my perspective as someone like in my early 20s, I would take it the same exact way from someone who is a 50-year-old power lifter that I would from a 17-year-old girl, that I would from like anyone, you know? So I agree. I think I've learned the most about like female friendships and reaching out to people from my mom. My mom has had friendships with girls closer to my age, closer to her age. She actually relates typically a lot more to people who are younger than her, and she doesn't hesitate about reaching out about that. Just because like some of the activities she does, like she is younger spirited than I am. So I feel like age like plays a role as far as maturity sometimes, but I think you could meet a mature person at any age as well and create connections at any age as well. And again, like our dynamic is so good, and maybe that's why I view like I would have a friend of literally any age and not think twice about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like there is only one girl who also is doing powerlifting at this gym. So that does make it kind of challenging, because if you think even just like outside of this podcast and stuff like that, like things like powerlifting and bodybuilding and even like CrossFit and stuff like that, where it's more niched fitness things, there are a lot less people that do it, especially if you are at a gym where there's not very many.
Yeah.
The ways that I kind of got into the fitness community here in Austin, and now like almost every gym owner knows me, and I've been to every bodybuilding gym, but it was like years in the making. Was it literally started with me going to and getting into an Instagram group that was like an Austin fitness community group. And then if you have any actual, like this was like a DM group, so we could message each other and stuff. And there's also groups like on Instagram, like pages where you can see like the events that are going around, so that you can find people that are in your area that like powerlifting too, or like bodybuilding or CrossFit, or just want to go on like a hot girl walk and stuff. Like there are groups, and that's how I actually started like getting and have eventually met all of these people, was getting into that group and actually going to these events. I used to go to so many like fitness events. I do now, but it's like bodybuilding expos, posing seminars and stuff like that.
They're less general, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Same with, so like putting it in my mom's shoes again, like she's in a new state. She's trying to make friends. She lives a very active lifestyle. She has Pilates. She goes and does Stairmaster every day, more than I do. So she joined like the meetup apps and Facebook groups that like went on hikes, went on walks, moved their bodies, like sometimes met up for like other ways of doing fitness. That way you're meeting other like active, like-minded people, because like just because we do bodybuilding doesn't mean all of our friends are bodybuilders, you know, like it doesn't have to be like you have to do my exact form of fitness to get along or understand each other.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a really, that's seems so scary too. There's also Bumble BFF. I actually I've never done before.
I got that before we were friends.
Really?
Yeah, because we both talked about how we were both like really struggling with like female connections before. I feel like our friendship aligned with like our friendships with other people too. It's just that like phase of life and that push. But before then I got it, and like nothing really came from it, but I had some great conversations with strangers. So.
Yep. Hopefully that helps. Different ideas. And that is uncomfortable, and it might feel forced. It might feel a little like cringe at first, especially if it's something that you're just not used to. I remember how much courage it took me to even just compliment or even just smile at like another girl that I was like admiring or wanting, like maybe wanted to be friends with. And now it's so much easier. It's crazy. I mean, there was even a girl yesterday, Chloe and I went to Costco to get all of the snacks and drinks for the retreat. And then the girl that was putting our boxes like in the cart and stuff like that, she asked me, she's like, what is your camera for? And I was like, it's for YouTube. And then, like even she, like it started with a question. And she's like, well, what are you filming for YouTube? I was like, well, I'm a bodybuilder. So I film like my bodybuilding preps, and we're doing a retreat this weekend. Like that's what all the food is for. I'm not just really hungry, you know? And she was a power lifter. So then,
sick.
you know, it was like a little conversation, and it started with one question of where did you get your camera, or what's it for? So
exactly,
it can start really small. And if you just stop the conversation there and just say like, oh, like it's for pictures, like, and that's it. Like it could just stop there. But if you want like the back and forth and it to go further, like it could. You know?
Last thing I'm going to say on that front, because the person writing in, like, it sounds like the gym is very male dominated. While our episode was about like female connections, which I think are super important. Sometimes if you just want friends in general, like gender does not matter.
Yeah.
So like that can still apply of like, maybe go up to one of the powerlifting guys, maybe try to get in with that crew too. We have a friend Katie, who powerlifts at a powerlifting gym, and like it's majority men at that gym, and she's just befriended all of them.
Friends with them. Yeah. I now have like, I mean, I consider him my friend, my jujitsu coach, and I've made like, I mean, when I go and do jujitsu, like it's mainly all guys there. Yesterday there was a girl there, and she was like sparring, and I started a conversation with her. I'm like, do you do jujitsu or do you do Muay Thai? And then we had a whole conversation, and she's like, okay, I'll try jujitsu if you try Muay Thai. So it was just like, before I wouldn't have even spoken to her.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
well, especially because that's like a new element for you too.
But and now I feel very out of place.
Now you're getting more comfortable.
Yeah. I feel out of place. And she's like, I've been here. Like, I know the ropes. Like, I can help. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. It's great. Okay, so this next one says, hey, Julia. Hi, Kendall. I'm a big fan of the pod, and I love listening to you both share experiences while also embracing being feminine, being strong baddies. I have been weightlifting for 3 years now, and recently I did a baby cut, and my muscles are popping, which is what I have wanted forever. My nickname growing up was Chicken Wing. That's so cute. I have wide shoulders naturally, and they're a bit wider than my hips. But all of a sudden, I feel self-conscious because I'm a tall girl, 6'1", and I feel like I'm worried I look too masculine. And I hate it because I've been training so long to look powerful and be a muscle mommy like you two. All of a sudden, I'm worried I look too masculine. Ugh. I hate that I'm even saying this. I was just wondering if you both experienced this when you started cutting. And if you have, do you have any tips for feeling feminine when the muscles be popping? I don't like that I've started feeling this way, but I'm not sure how to go back to loving the gains. Love you both. And look forward to hearing your thoughts.
I 1,000% get like this. And for me, it's not even like certain phases of cutting. It's just randomly where sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm jacked.
Yes.
And then other times I'm like, I'm jacked. And then I start overthinking it. I totally get it being taller too, where like, sometimes I just feel like a big person, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I envy.
Also.
Yes.
Dude, this has to do with this, so I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. Good. But I was making the scrapbook this weekend of my friend's page, and I had photos of me and you cut out. My dad was freaking out over you.
Wait, why?
He was freaking out. He was like, oh my God. You know how dramatic my dad is. Oh my God. Kendall is so muscular. Holy, look at her legs.
Was I lean?
Oh my God. It was the photo of me and you at Roman Empire the last time that we went side by side. He goes, her legs are so long. Oh my God. So and then he came back again and was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful.
He's so sweet.
And I was like, I know. I don't know what it was about those specific.
Cute. I don't think. Shoot, maybe we should post.
You know
those.
what? I don't think, because my dad doesn't do any social media. Yeah. My mom sees like you and your fitness self. He has never seen that, so I think that it's the first time him seeing you like in workout gear and stuff, and he was like, whoa,
that's really funny. That's really cute. I was saying, like, sometimes I catch myself like envying petite women because I've never been that. And I think it's about navigating what makes you feel confident and not just tying it to muscle mass or like masculine versus feminine, where like sometimes it's just what I wear that day. We're like, okay, I am feeling a little more aware of my arms today, or like aware of my lack of chest today, because that's something I experience when cutting is like my boobs are already going away. And that can be hard for me with wearing certain tops. So I think it's just about like dressing to what makes you feel good, what makes you feel quote unquote feminine, what makes you feel confident. I think that's where I can utilize and like manipulate these feelings the most on those off days, and just realizing that like it is an ebb and flow. There are times where you're going to like, yes, you're working so hard for this thing, but then sometimes it's not exactly how you visualized it, or like some days you're just feeling off, and that's when those like, am I too masculine thoughts come in. I think it's just about like realizing that the overall picture and what you're working towards is still your goal, and that having negative feelings about that goal on the way is normal and okay.
Yeah. And I know like this is always like a weird topic for me to talk about, because there's sometimes where I'm like, this sounds like a stupid thing to talk about. Not this listener, but me, because I will often feel and wish that I don't have as much muscle, that I was like, I know that I'm short, but that I was like very petite, that I basically looked like how when I first started my fitness journey, where I was like 110 pounds, like I was in 5'2", and I was like very, like that's very little. And there are times where I'll be out in public and I get weird stares, but I also get I'll get nice compliments, or you know, the eyes or the whispers or things like that. And the thing is that doesn't necessarily mean anybody is like judging, you know, the way that I look or whatever. But if it's an off day for me and I'm not feeling my most confident, I'm like, oh my God, like I feel maybe I look too masculine, or I look too muscular, or my arms look too big, or what. But on the some other days, I'm like, I do love being the most jacked woman that walks in that room.
Hell yeah.
I do love that.
So I will say I've let it affect me to the point of like, I've changed my physique over time too, because also maybe it is actually like a change of goal, and maybe it's not like I don't want to not have any muscle at all, but like I used to train upper body so intensely. Like if I can find one, I'll throw it up for the YouTube channel. I was jacked when I was like 16. Like upper body was the biggest I've ever been. My shoulders were a lot bigger. My biceps, I actually trained them back then. My lats were bigger. And while I still have like residual muscle, I'm definitely not as big as I once was. And that was a conscious decision for me because I got to a point where I was uncomfortable, where in my off season, I felt too big for my own personal liking. And that's also okay, because sometimes you might see muscle mass on another woman and be like, that's beautiful. That's the goal. That's what I want. And then you see it on your own frame and you're like, you know what? I'm not super happy being this size. And you can change that. So if it is like a genuine, I'm unhappy, you can always change your split, change your physique. It does take time losing muscle as well, as much as getting it. But I feel much more confident in my upper body now, where I still train it twice a week, but maybe like not quite intense as I used to, or as heavy as I used to.
Yeah. And I am also wondering too with this listener, if it is from a place of she's like, I am super tall and I'm already like taller than most, you know, people around me, and I am muscular. If that's what she's more worried about, or was there a comment that was made by somebody else? Because if I saw this listener in public, I would be in awe. I would be in awe over her. So that girl that I was telling you about earlier, she's this tall. Yeah. And when I was around her, I was like in awe over her.
It's almost like a different aura. Because like I love a tall woman.
Yeah. Because I'm not that tall. Yeah. So I'm looking at her from a place of like admiration, of being like, you know, I'll never be that tall, but she's muscular and she's has this beautiful like energy about her. She's also like, we're literally complete opposites. We're blonde hair, blue eyes, tall. She's muscular as well. I'm short. I'm muscular as well. Brown hair, brown eyes, I'm way to the ground. So I feel that same way about you too. You know, you're not 6 foot, but you're still a lot taller than me. Where I'll look at you and be like, whoa, she's like, I see she's like a model. And I'm over here, this little troll that's walking around like, but that's just an example of how sometimes we can view ourselves.
Yeah, it's all perception because like on the flip side, I of course look at you and I'm like, I wish I had her muscle mass.
You'd be walking around like
But I think like
rolling around.
It is one of those things where it's like it's fully perception of ourselves and the people around us. We're like, yeah, maybe it is coming from a place of like comparison or what someone else said, because I know if I just existed, I might just get as muscular as possible. But because I have like, there's beauty standards in the world and my own opinions and things my brother said growing up or whatever, you know, it has definitely viewed how I view my own body in a way. Yeah.
Like for example, the last time I went and got my nails done, my nail ladies like know me now and I love them. But I remember having this feeling because this little adorable, beautiful, petite girl came in and sat next to me, and I'm over here with my shoulders out, my quads, and the first thing that I thought of, I was like, oh my God, make yourself look smaller.
I noticed.
I was like, look smaller.
Dude,
look
literally
smaller.
When I'm walking anywhere, even in the gym, I notice I have good posture, like if I'm just existing. Intentionally, when I'm in public around other men who are maybe shorter than me or just in general, I make myself shorter and smaller. Like I fully like bring my body in instead of like standing with my chest up and like elongating. And it's something I'm more aware of now, where I'm like, why do I feel like doing that?
I wonder if that's like a common thing that tall girls do.
Yeah, it's subconscious. I never noticed until like other people pointed out, or until I randomly am like, why am I hunched over? Yeah. Why am I leaning off to one side? Like I should be proud. Again, I'm not like tall. Yeah. But I should be proud of like my stature and my height and my shoulders and my size. Like it's something to be proud about and celebrate it.
And to this listener, like I just know from what you have said, but like, you have worked, this is something that you've really wanted, that you have put some blood, sweat, and tears to get, and now you finally have it. And I genuinely do believe that you are proud of this physique. But on the other hand, I can see what you're saying, because Kendall and I have both felt that way. But just know that most likely people aren't thinking that.
People probably think you're like this tall goddess, to be honest.
Most likely people are like, holy shit, she's amazing. Yeah. Because I know, at least if it was me, I would be looking at her like, this Greek god. Okay. So just appreciate all of the work that you have put in, because it is cool to be a muscle mommy. It really is.
It is. And it's powerful. And it's fun being taller than men.
It is really badass. I'm telling you, my favorite thing is walking past a dude you're more jacked than. I'm sorry.
It do feel good
There's
sometimes.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
This guy's just in the gym living his life, and Julia's like sizing up next to him. Yeah. Okay. The last question we have says, hello, I just started listening to you on YouTube and I love your content. I really appreciate the message you are putting out there, especially for young, impressionable women. I'm an avid gym goer and view the gym as my time and not a place to socialize. I normally go to the gym with my fiance. However, we do not work out together as we hit different gym splits / priorities. My question to you is how to deal with men in the gym that make you feel uncomfortable. There's one particular man that tries to get close to me, never talks to me, just stares and is very creepy. I've thought about telling my fiance, however, I don't want to create any drama and just wish this guy would stop. Should I confront him and ask him politely to not stare, or just keep ignoring him and hope the situation changes? Thanks again for all the content you put out there. Because of your podcast, my 2025 New Year's resolution was to start a gratitude journal, and I feel it has made a big impact on my well-being. Right. I love that. Also, it's 11/11. Make a wish.
My wish is that she will do what I'm about to tell her to do.
Good wish.
If you're watching on YouTube, this is what you do. They're staring at you. You dead look at them.
Julia's the best at this.
The same creep level, the same stare, and you don't look away until they look away. You're going to make me feel uncomfortable.
I'm going to make
you uncomfortable. I'm telling you. 99% of your fiance is also there. You're safe. You know, like my first reaction is always to be a little bit more like aggressive about it, but I know that's not always safe. So I'm putting that out there.
Yeah.
I know that's not always safe. But I think a
stare back, sometimes giving benefit of the doubt, they don't realize that they're being creepy or staring, or like maybe you're just beautiful and attracting an eye.
Maybe it's just really hard to not look at you.
But I agree. Like I've seen Julia do this in real time and it works every single time.
They cannot handle you dead staring them back. I have done it multiple times. They can't handle it.
I did it recently. I don't do it every time. It's not my first response, but I'm kind of like this listener where like, okay, it's been going on for a while now.
Yes, it's
or
the
like
theme.
maybe it's one gym session, but you are close to me and you're staring at me. I was doing cable lateral raises and someone was on like the cable like next to me. So like close, could maybe be facing me, but in between his sets was dead ass just like turned to me, looking at me, like looking at my body too, which I was just so uncomfortable that I literally the whole set eye contact and immediately
they're
powered
uncomfortable.
down, turned around, left.
They're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like they have the guts to stare at you, and it's become a theme, and you're like, okay, I'm always uncomfortable each time with the same person. I'll make you uncomfortable. I will even be super dramatic with my body. If there's one, even if he's staring from like way across, and it's been happening a lot, I am always one to give people like the benefit of the doubt.
For sure.
I'd
be staring sometimes by accident.
And I will literally grab like
I've seen you do that move too.
And what the fuck?
For the audio listeners, she is being intense with the stare, intense with the move
like
around, dramatic.
Cocking my head. I'm like,
it's like an animal response. Because
I
do feel like sometimes it is like a power dynamic of like, well, you haven't said anything, so I'm going to keep doing this thing. And it's like, that doesn't make it right. And I think there is a level of standing up for yourself, or like, I'm someone very quick to be like, can I help you? Or like, do you need something? Because that, I think, again, makes them realize like, oh, I'm being creepy right now.
I think there was one time when Eric and I were together, one of our friends, and there was a guy that was following us around a place. And I was like, okay, this is the theme. And Erica was checking out, and I was standing behind her, guarding her butt. And like one friend does. And he's just standing there on the side, like, looking. And I went, what? I stepped and went, what? And he instantly was like, oh.
Yeah.
And he ran away. I was like, okay, well, you can't handle the heat, then don't look.
Yeah. It is a shame because I do feel like I feel like we sometimes put it out there, and we talked like an episode ago about like toxic femininity. And we talked about like always blaming the man, where there are a lot of really nice gym dudes, but if there is someone who makes you uncomfortable, it's also not a bad thing to step up, say something in the front desk. I once had a situation where I didn't feel safe walking to my car. This guy followed me all around the gym, kept interrupting my workout to ask me questions. They started very normal, like, where'd you get your shoes? And I was like, oh, of course, like, I'll be nice to this guy. Oh, here's where I got them, etc. And then like I brought out my camera. Can you take photos of me? I'd love to take photos of you someday. And I was like, you've crossed the line. Yeah. I didn't feel super comfortable being confrontational towards him because it was a late night gym session, not a lot of people there.
You're alone.
Exactly. I went up to the front desk people and I was like, hey, I don't feel super comfortable walking in my car. I don't know where this guy went. He might be out in the parking lot. And one of them just walked with me.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was really sweet. It was at the gym you go to. He was so nice.
Really?
And this was like years ago, but yeah.
No.
And
that is the thing. Like I've had I talked about one on here. I've had great experiences, and it's just something that you do have to kind of feel out. And then you have the ones where your gut really knows. And I think because there is so much gray area, that is why most women will just head down and I ain't talking to nobody. And I get that too, because you never know.
Yeah.
You do never know. But I'm like,
stay safe.
I'm a big fan of making them feel uncomfortable.
I've like fully gotten that from your book of looking back at them. And that resolves it before even having to say anything most of the time.
Just a dead stare.
Yeah.
I love the open body position stare.
Yeah.
Like
I love the lat spread, legs flexed.
That's
stare.
what I literally would just
see the opposite of the last question. Don't make yourself smaller. Make yourself bigger.
I know.
Be like, you
right?
better be scared of me.
I'm like, these muscles ain't for show, man. Yeah. I don't know. Let me know if you guys try it, but still be safe. Please be safe.
Yeah. That's why I am like not quick to make a scene because I understand things could get bad. But definitely don't like allow someone to make your me time uncomfortable.
Yeah. Mic drop. Well, that's going to be it today, guys. Little girly chats, a little bit about muscles, a little bit about creepy things, a little bit about girly friends. But as always, we love you all so much and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.